Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rhiannon and I've been airbrushing for 10 years. Today I'm going to show you how I deep clean my airbrush step by step, plus taking it apart and putting it back together. A deep clean is one of the most important things you can do to keep your airbrush spraying smoothly, preventing clogging and extending its lifespan. And I promise once you understand the process, it's way less intimidating than it looks. So grab your cleaning tools, take your time, follow along, and let's get into it. So the airbrush I would use the most is the Iwata CM-B, and to start the cleaning process we're going to take the handle off to reveal the back part. Here we have the chucking nut that holds the needle in place. Now gently take the needle out. The needle is super fragile, especially in this style of airbrush. You can see here the difference up against my Eclipse needle. It doesn't look like it here, but there's actually a lot of parts underneath. So we'll screw off the needle spring adjuster and the spring will be revealed. And this part of the airbrush is very important to keep it clean, as when dirt and grime builds up, it'll affect the smoothness of the needle being pulled back by the lever. All the mechanics guide and secure the needle. Try not to lose the head needle crown cap. Taking it off, revealing this very small and delicate nozzle, the heart of your airbrush. This one is a 0.18 mm. I recommend screwing the nozzle off low to the table, as it's so small it could fall from your fingers onto the table, and even at that height it could still cause damage. And now we're ready to clean. Moving on to what tools I use to clean the airbrush with. I actually recently picked up the Iwata cleaning kit, so you get this non-shedding pipe cleaner. I prefer and usually use the metal pipe cleaner brush set. I also have these interdental brushes in two different sizes: a stiff synthetic paintbrush, Q-tips, wooden toothpicks, an old airbrush needle, an Iwata LED magnifier, isopropyl alcohol, which I put into a spray bottle, kitchen roll, and a small glass dish. So I like to spray some alcohol in the dish and set it to the side. Spraying some alcohol on a kitchen roll, I lay the needle gently onto it, pressing it between my thumb and index finger, then slowly twisting it through, applying light pressure. Just be cautious at the end, as it's so delicate. The more you clean your airbrush, the more confident you will become. Taking the head system nozzle base, we can clearly see the inner paint channel here, which would usually be packed with paint. Right now we will be focused on cleaning the threads with our dental brushes, soaking the brush with alcohol and scrubbing back and forth to clean any paint, dirt or grime buildup off. Taking care of the threads is crucial, as we always need an airtight seal everywhere on the airbrush. The dental brushes are perfect to clean inside the inner paint channel, and especially the metal pipe cleaner brushes. I highly recommend you buy a set. They will be long enough to reach each end, which will ensure no paint will remain. Now using the thinner dental brush and not forgetting the base, as this is a deep clean, try and replace the alcohol in your glass dish with new alcohol, as dried paint will build up and could attach itself to your brushes to then go back into the airbrush, making cleaning so much harder. Another great use for the glass dish is for when I'm painting. I always keep it beside me with a little bit of alcohol and a dental brush, so when I get some tip dry I can easily clean off the dried up paint. It's so much easier than using my fingertips, especially because I paint with gloves. Continuing on with the cleaning, I'm basically doing the same motion throughout, using either the dental brushes or the Q-tip with alcohol, applying it to all of the threads and the crevices, so we can also ensure there's an airtight seal. In my future videos I will be showing you how to clean your airbrush between painting as well, and how to clean different models of airbrushes. Today this airbrush is already cleaned. I wanted the main focus to be the motion and the tools I use, and of course break down the parts of the Iwata CM-B. Investing in your cleaning supplies for your airbrush is essential. It makes the painting process so much easier when you have tools that actually fit into each part seamlessly. The beauty about these tools is that you can buy most of them in your local pharmacy, and they aren't too expensive either. Having a dirty airbrush just causes spitting, splattering when you're painting, sudden bursts of paint, uneven lines, inconsistent flow. You may think you're doing something wrong, but actually it could just be your airbrush itself. Something as small as a speck of dried up paint clogged in the nozzle. A clean airbrush equals a predictable result. A very important part of the airbrush to keep clean is the lever, and replacing the lube quite often, as it's essential to keep the lever movement smooth and easy to the touch. When it's caked in old paint and grime, it can stiffen the pullback. When you remove the needle, it travels past the lever and can carry the messy paint back with it. So doing a deep clean really depends how often you would airbrush. I personally would deep clean mine quite often, as this Iwata is very delicate. It's great for details, so keeping it clean will ensure having thin lines consistently. Having a clean airbrush setup can build your skills faster. You learn trigger control so much quicker. Lines respond exactly to the pressure changes. Confidence will grow instead of frustration, as you'll be so in sync with your airbrush. The most important part to keep clean is the nozzle. Here you can see the different sizes of the nozzle. The smaller nozzle can be quite intimidating to clean, as it's so easy damaged. A great tool I love to use is a wooden toothpick. The wood material is so much softer on the walls of the nozzle compared to putting metal on metal. Scratches causes permanent turbulence. The performance can never fully return once the walls have been damaged or the tip. Get the toothpick and a blade and start sculpting a long sharp point that will fit perfectly in your nozzle and small enough that it won't jam into the end, damaging where the needle will come out of. So when you're guiding the toothpick that you've sculpted into the nozzle, gently scrape the paint off the sides. Please be careful you don't jam it where the needle perfectly fits, as you can destroy the airtight seal. Another great way to clean the nozzle is using an old airbrush needle, preferably from the same airbrush, as it will fit perfectly inside. Grabbing a dry Q-tip. When the cotton is dry, you can pinch a small section of cotton off it. Lay the small piece of cotton on your fingertips and just roll your old airbrush needle around in the cotton, securing it with your fingertips so it's submerged onto the end of your needle. Dipping the cotton on the needle into alcohol so it's one piece. You will then do the same as you did with the wooden toothpick and start cleaning inside of the nozzle, making sure the cotton that's submerged in alcohol is cleaning the walls of the nozzle, and every time you take the needle out, the cotton should come with it as it's one piece and you will see all the old paint. Keep doing this until the cotton comes out clean and there's no more paint specks on the cotton. Don't be scared if the cotton gets stuck in the nozzle, because it's been dipped in alcohol, it becomes one, so you can easily pick it out with your needle. This will take some getting used to, but honestly this is my favorite way to clean the nozzle. So we are now left with the body of the Iwata CM-B. This part contains the paint channel, the needle path, trigger cavity, and the front threads where the nozzle fits. Basically, there are no delicate thin parts here, but it still requires care. Damaging or neglecting any of the small parts of the airbrush can easily be replaced, but the body, you will have to pay a lot to replace this, so keep it running like a well-oiled machine. That alone should be motivation for you to look after it. So when the paint cup is full of paint, I will rinse it by blasting water and alcohol through it. Then I will wipe the paint cup with a dry piece of kitchen paper. This will remove loose paint without it spreading deeper. Using the glass dish is perfect to clean the body, as you can control the amount of alcohol going into this space, as you never want to flood it with excess liquid. Excess liquid can migrate into seals and air passages. Focus on cleaning where the paint passes. The dental brushes are great, as you can bend and manipulate them to fit into parts hard to reach. For any stubborn, hardened paint in the paint cup, grab the stiff synthetic paintbrush. The bristles will get into all the corners. For the back of the body, I wouldn't recommend soft pipe cleaners like I'm using in the video. Definitely use the metal pipe cleaners for that part. So now putting all the parts back together, your airbrush body will be clean, dry and empty, and putting each part back requires patience, order and feeling. If you are a beginner and are intimidated by assembling, watch back this video to give yourself more confidence. Installing the nozzle is the most delicate part. I'm threading the nozzle by hand first. If it doesn't catch easily, stop and try again. Don't force it, as it can damage the threads. I then gently tighten with the tool provided. Do not over tighten. Reinstalling the trigger and applying lube. The trigger should move freely with no sticking. Every time you assemble your airbrush correctly, you're building muscle memory and confidence. Treat your airbrush with care, patience and consistent maintenance, and it will give you precision and less headache in return. Inserting the needle is another important step, as damage can occur. So you insert the needle from the back, moving the needle forward under its own weight. Never push the needle forward. If you feel resistance, it means something isn't aligned. Gently pushing the needle all the way to the end till you can see it coming out of the nozzle cap. You will feel slight resistance when it's all the way. Do not push anymore. Lock the needle chuck to secure the needle. I hope you benefited from this video in some way. I'm excited to start posting more on this channel every Tuesday with tutorials, drills and exercises to improve your clean lines and trigger control, also showing you how I tackle commission work and a lot more cleaning maintenance videos. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more step-by-steps so you can progress with confidence. I'll see you in the next video.